Hello and welcome to Websites for Beginners with JP. This is Stackable, Reconstructed, Episode 2. If you haven't seen Episode 1, better go check it first. It's a series, right? After all, binge watching, you need to start from the beginning and end at the end. The Reconstructed series has 3 focus points. Number 1 is to give you a little bit of exposure to builders. Number 2, this is a beginner's channel. So to show you everything, how it works and build it up very, very slowly all the way to the top. And number 3, because every builder has multiple ways of achieving the same thing, maybe I show you something you've never thought of, or maybe you see something that I'm doing really, really badly wrong, and you can just drop a comment in the comments below and let me know, hey JP, why don't we do it like this? Before we jump into Stackable, last week in the comments, Sync told me, Stackable Pro is a lifetime deal on AppSumo. Now, you should probably show an affiliate link. Thanks, Sync, for that. And with that, I just quickly want to then point out to you guys that Stackable is available as a lifetime license now on AppSumo. Please follow the link in the description below, which will greatly support this channel. Thank you very much. And what this means is that if you go to the Stackable website, you're going to see mostly annual subscriptions, plus a very expensive lifetime deal. But if you go to the link in the description below and you say AppSumo and Stackable, where am I going now, is the best ever, you're going to find that you can get it at a very good price of $60.59 for 3 site licenses. And you can stack it up. Get unlimited site licenses. So if you go for 4 codes, which is $240, you're going to get unlimited site licenses. Grab the link and go check out Stackable at AppSumo for this amazing deal. It's not going to last forever, so maybe in the future, while you're watching this video, this deal is already over, but hope you got it in time. Great deal. Lifetime licenses, love it. Spend all my money on it. Right, so let's see what we're going to be making today. Within WordPress, I'll be making this hero section. Different from the previous one, and I'm going to show you a few workarounds here, a few challenges that we will have along the way, but we're going to make it look good. So I've chosen this flat color scheme, and then we're going to switch it into something really amazing. If you want to see how it looks on displays, let's have a look here on a MacBook Air. Looks good. I'll link over here, and then this one. Really good. Could have changed maybe the color there if I remember that. And then on a mobile device, let's look on the iPhone. Looks really good here. And then also similarly very, very good. And you can see there is a shape divider or a block divider at the bottom. We'll also have a look at that. Please remind me if I forget. Right. Let's close this. Go to my builder, and this is the one that I had worked on as a demo. This is the one I'll be using to reconstruct it from the beginning. 2 things, I'll be using a flat color palette called, which one is this? FlatUIcolors.com. You can follow along if you are interested in different palettes for flat colors, and I'm using this one called the Aussie palette for this one, FlatUIcolors.com. And then loremipsum.io is the text generator that I will be using. And then that app developer thingy I showed you where you can see these responsive displays is called Sissy. Links in the description below. Let's begin building. Here I am in my WordPress. I'll go to Pages, Add New, and we'll call this one Recon for Reconstruction 02. A few things I need to do here because I'm using the Blocksy theme. And I don't want a header and footer and page title, and I want everything nicely spaced on my page. I'll first go up here to the top to the Blocksy page settings. I'll start with the page title. I'll disable that. Then I'll scroll down, content area vertical spacing. I will disable that. And then page elements, I will just select all of them, toggle them on so to disable all of these features, and then publish my page. With that, I don't have a header, don't have a footer, no page title, and things are working smoothly on my page for all of this. Stackable is already installed, and I actually went and I grabbed that AppSumo deal myself. Yes, I bought it. And with that, I will have all the pro features. What did I just do? Let's go back. With that, I will have all the pro features and premium features that come with Stackable. If you click at the top on Add Block, here are a few basic stackables, but as you scroll down to the bottom, under Stackable, you're going to get everything here. Last time we started with the container, if I'm not mistaken, in Recon 01. And the container, really a terrific element. I've played around a little bit since then, and there are some great features within Stackable when you use the container. Today's tutorial, we're only going to focus on this one. This is another container called Advanced Columns and Grid. Really super nice element and block to use when you are building out your page within Gutenberg. And I can just imagine combining these two, using a container and then throwing in advanced columns and grids within that is going to give you all the control and flexibility you need to make your page look great. 30 seconds of ramble. I am still not a big fan of Gutenberg as is because it just doesn't feel intuitive to me. However, I love what certain companies are doing with the add-ons, including Stackable. It makes it fun to use, and when I get it to work properly, I really feel very satisfied with it. And that's why I'm excited about this tutorial as well, because I showed you what I had created so you know it is possible. Makes your site super, super fast. We're going to bring in this container, and I'll simply click on it, and it'll drop it here onto our page. Remember, you can always have a tree view of what's going on your page by going up here, and you see these little 3 lines. This is the outline, and as I click on it, you'll see we have this block called the Advanced Columns and Grid. And then inside it, we have a column and another column. Always go and make sure that you select the right thing when editing, because sometimes you want to just edit one column, sometimes you want to edit the container of the column, and that will be this one. Another clue will always be to check up here when you are working, Settings, Block, and the name will appear here. To select this one, which is currently selected, I'll click here, so you see the blue bounding box. And we know it says Advanced Columns and Grid. If I click here in this column, you will now see that the name has changed to Advanced Column. If you want to, again, edit the container, click somewhere without clicking on the column. Usually here in the middle, that works for me. Again, you'll see it's Advanced Columns and Grid. Click on the column. And if you cannot get to the container, you go up here to the outline and you select it from here. This will help you to make sure you're editing the right thing. There's another cue as well. You see this little icon over here. If I click on the column, same icon. Oh, okay, there's another interesting feature I didn't know. So if I click on the column and I want to go one up, you go here, hover here, and you will see the one up, the select parent. Oh, Daddy, where have you been? You just click on that one, and we're a family again. Great. This is where we start. Let's first get the alignment right for this one. Up here from the toolbar, you choose the alignment for the container. Currently, it is center, wide width, and full width. Wide width is going to give you the container all the way to the edges of the page, but the columns will have a little bit of padding on their sides. Full width will stretch everything, so we're going to go with wide width. Select wide width, and then to the inspector on the right, let's make some changes to the color. Have a look before we get to the color. Layout. I just love this area because I'm really fond of when people give me pre-made things I can play around with. But there's a lot of power in what Stackable has done when it comes to the column. We'll look at some of it later, and then hopefully in future reconstructed videos, we will get back to this. But there's a lot of power here. We are working with 2 columns, and we're going to stay to 2 columns. But you can see here, you can arrange them very easily, swap them around, like so. If I had different content inside, I can have settings for them. If I want it like this, a third on the right, or a third to the left, or bring it back to 50-50. And then I even have premade ones down here. Now, actually, I'm thinking you may be wondering, why are we working with 2 columns? And this is where our little design comes in. If I just quickly focus again here, what I want to achieve is for my content to be on the left and the right side to be open. This is a very standard way of designing, but this kind of design is especially very useful if you have an image that is centered or focus centered on the right. We have this model here, her face is to the right, so we want the context on the left, so we have 2 focus points. In this case, because you have the weight of her face on the right, we don't want to put the text in the middle because it actually makes our design feel unbalanced. It's like everything is tilting to the right. So what we do is we balance it with the left by adding our content to the left. That's what we'll do for this image. But here it's just a good design. Now what we could do is just bring in 1 column or the container and then add padding here. But by using columns, it's very easy. We just leave the 1 column empty, this one, and we add all the content to this column. And that's what we're going to be doing, as simple as that. Make sure your advanced columns and grid is selected. I'll just click on it again, go to style, we change the background color. So let's collapse this one, general text color, blah, 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 block background. Click on that. And here we have again the set presets that comes from the Blocksy theme. We'll add a custom color, and I'll go grab that from my Aussie palette. Greenland green. Copy that. What I'll just do while I'm here, you will see at the top it says copy format, hex, and then a hash. When I say copy, it will copy it with a hash, but I don't need it. I'll just copy it without the hash. So I'll select this one, makes it easier for me. Copy. I go back, custom color, and I double click here to select the hexadecimal code and then Control-Command-V to paste it. And I have my background color. That was super, super easy, right? Nothing more that we have to do here. So for now, with our advanced column container, which is our main container, we are done. Now we begin working with the column. And all I'll do is I'll click on it. Click on Add Blocks, and I'm going to search for heading. And my stackable advanced heading, I'll select this one. The heading comes in with what they call a title, and then here a subtitle. I'm just going to use the title. So from the inspector on the right, I'll deselect subtitle and remove that. Then I'll go to title for this block and I'll type in lorem ipsum dolor. I remember the first 3 words now very well. Just to show you what you can do with the toolbar up here, if I select all of that, you have here your alignment, put it in the middle, to the right, and of course we want it on the left. You can also have dynamic fields. And while selected, you can actually set the color over here. So I'll set it to white. That's what we want to do. And here you have the option to, what was this one? Let me see. Copy styles. And you have other text editor functions down here. With this selected, you'll also see here under settings, block advanced heading, and we can make a few changes here. General, it's already aligned to the left. Then title, this is the one we're working with. We put it on H3. Last time we did everything manual when we work with heading. So every time we looked for the font, we would go to Topography and then Font Family and look for it over there. There's a way we can set it up from the go, so you don't need to go and change it every time when you are doing that. For that, we go up here to the toolbar, look for Stackable Settings, and then choose Global Topography. And then we can start. I'm only going to be using heading 2 and heading 3. I wish it had a filter down option. So for example, if I change heading 1, it will change all of them, but it doesn't do that. So you have to change the font for each one of them if you do it from here. Let's do that. I'll change the heading 1, and the font I'm looking for is called Work Sans. So select it. And now we go same for heading 2. So we're just basically changing our default settings. work sans for heading 3. And that's all I'm going to use. I'm not going to go to a heading 4, right? Body text. Let's just change that to work sans. Maybe that will change everything. Nope, only. So you have to do them one by one. You see here's a reset. And I'm pretty sure probably if we go into Blocksy, we can change it within the theme. But take note of this area where you can set up global topography as well as the color palette. You can add here. These guys you cannot delete because we get it from the Blocksy theme. Let's go back to the settings. And where were we? We were at the title. And now topography, I don't need to select work sans because it's already been implemented as a global font. So if I type here work sans, you're going to see select nothing changes. It's already there. If I delete it, nothing happens because it's work sans. Good. Let's change our size. Put this one to 14. Weight, I'm going to put on 300. Default is uppercase. Line height, I'll leave that. Letter spacing, we put on 1. Super duper. And topography, we are done, I believe. So let's see, we put it on our heading. Topography, size, color, and alignment. That's awesome. And we are done with this one. Next, I'll bring in another advanced heading. I'll go here, add block. And because I've used advanced heading, it should appear here at the top. This time I'll click and drag to the left column where I see the thick blue line, and I'll drop it here. Let's select our title, and I'm going to take a longer bit of text, so I'll go to my lorem ipsum generator and grab something a little bit longer for the heading. Copy, and I'll paste it here. Let's style this out. So we go to our editor on the right. This is a title, so make sure you select title, and this one will be H2. We've already changed the font in the global settings. No need to change the font. Under topography, we start here. I'll give it a size of 40. The weight, I'll put on 400 and transform uppercase. Then line height 1.5. I'm going to leave it there because I have 2 lines. And the letter spacing, this time I'm going to reduce it to -2. Just a little different effect, right? Sometimes we stretch it, sometimes we shrink it, you know, what you're in the mood for. And then color, we put on white. Yeah, and that's it. We can still select left if we wanted to, but no need for that. Close the title. Let's go to subtitle. We're going to add a little bit of a paragraph here for people to read more about whatever we are selling. So I'll grab longer text here from lorem ipsum. This bit, copy, and I'll go here, select everything. Where is my subtitle? Make sure I select that. Oh, I can just click here and paste. No need to select anything. There we go. Let me just make sure no spaces. Super. To the inspector on the right we go. And what we'll do here, subtitle, topography, font family, we don't have to care about that. Size, 16. Let's leave it at 16. Weight, I'll put it on 400. And then transform uppercase. Line height, letter spacing, all of this. Very good. And then also put the color to white. And we can also just left align it if we wanted to do that. Let's add a top line between, let me just click somewhere outside here. Between this little one we've got here and our next one. So having selected this advanced heading, activate top line. You see our line appears there. I actually like that line's width by default. You can see here in the inspector, it is set to 100, and that would be pixels. You can also put it on percentage, and the height is 4 pixels. They must have read my mind, because that's usually the kind of lines I go for, around 4 pixels in height, and then the width around 75 to 150. That's just one of those things I do. Seems I'm a little bit predictable. We just changed the color to white. So up to now, let's just go have a look at what we've done. Update the work, save it, and then we can click up here to preview it in a new tab. Yeah, and it looks pretty good, right? I think not bad, But I'm going to reduce the size of this font here for this paragraph and maybe make it a little thinner weight. So let's do that. Make sure it's selected. We go to Subtitle, Topography. Weight I'll put on 300 and I'll reduce it to 14. Right, that's it. Click out and update. Go to the front, refresh. Yeah, that looks good. And now we bring in a button and we'll put a spacer here for a little bit of space between the button. Let's go to Add Block. First, I will look for the spacer. Spacer. And if you have no idea what a spacer is, go watch episode 1. We covered it there. So in each of these episodes, I'll go a little bit faster. I won't cover everything we did in the previous ones, so we can build it up and go a little bit quicker. Click on spacer, click and drag, drop it here where you see the thick blue line, but in this column. And then while we are here, I'm going to look also for a button. And I used this gradient purple pink button because that is Stackable's blocks. And where will this one now be? Okay, we'll have to figure that out. So I'll drop it here. Let's just have a look up here from our outline. Here's the spacer and here's the button. I want the spacer to be between the advanced heading and the button. Can I drag it here? No. But what I can do is select it. So go here, select it. And then with this arrow here, you can just click and it will move up 1. So there's our spacer, select it, and you will see the height over here in pixels. And I'll put that to 75. That's all I need it for. So that's it, 75 pixels, and we are done. Scroll, click on the button, and let's change the text first. To do that, I'll just select it. And what do we say here? View more. Click again. Type your website address here, https, / and then w4b.io. Opens in new tab. Definitely. Right? Good. So there we go. That's set there for us. You can also do that here in the inspector on the right. You don't have to do it on this page. Let's go and have a look what the button can do for us here in the inspector on the right. First, I'll click on Layout, just to give you this overview again, that you have different kinds of layouts that you can choose from, especially if you're working with multi-buttons, which is something I think we cover around episode 4 or 5. And then you also have styling options here. Pretty nice, right? Nice bonanza. Style, and this is where we'll go. First, you have the general border radius. And border radius is a big word for rounded corners. I don't like them, so I grab the slider and I make it 0. And you can see I have these sharp corners. If you want a rounded one, you just grab the slider and drag it all the way to the right. So let's go with a rounded one, just because I never do it. And then align the button to the left. Okay, let's go here, collapse buttons on. We don't have multiple buttons. This will be a feature if we had more than one button. And you can see we can add up to 2 more, button 1, 2, and 3. Let's style button 1. So you select button 1, and then we have, again, this little area you put in your link and your URL, your design, and then over here, we are going to bring in our button color. So this will be the background, and this will be the text color. Go to our Aussie palette, and which one are we going to use for the background? This one. What is this one called? Beekeeper. And then I'll select here on custom color, double click to select the code, Control Command V. And then for the text, I'll use the same teal, that color. What is it? Greenland green from Aussie. Greenland green from Aussie. Interesting. Copy. And then text color. And there we go. Now let's scroll down. Hover effect. Yeah, we like a hover effect on the button. Let's click here on scale more. And this means as I hover over it, it gets bigger. And it also has a little bit of an opacity, or a transparency rather, applied to the background. You can see here hover opacity is at 0.8, which means it's 80% opaque, 20% transparent. And you can even change the hover colors. I think this is fine. Topography, let's go here. Font family, we don't have to mess with that. Let's put our size to 16. We make that a little bit smaller. The weight, around 400. Because it's so small, let's put it on 600. And then transform, I'm going to make that uppercase as well. We'll see it a little bit better. And then button size, we have normal, tiny, and then medium. And all the button size does is it basically just stretches the padding all around. I'll select large, but at the same time, I want to add more padding here to the left and to the right. And there's a nice feature here. I love it. Horizontal padding. I'll just click in there and type in 14. Before I do that, I want you to know one thing about this one, Stackable, called Stackable, which I love. Stackable, good job, thumbs up. Is that I've not entered any value here. It's set to 26. That is the default value. But I don't need to select it. All I need to do is click and type. So that 26 is just an indication of what the default value is. I like that. Some page builders, they will not give you that default value. And then you will wonder, where is this padding coming from? Because I don't see anything in the value box. Is it padding? Is it margin? What is it? So I appreciate this, little gesture here that we can see it because it really helps me to understand, there's already padding applied. Now I know I can add or take it away if I needed to. The point actually is you don't need to select it because it's just a placeholder. Clicking in there, you'll see the cursor is in the front because there's actually nothing there. I just type in 40, and there you go. Super. I like that. A shadow? Do we want a shadow? Let's not mess around with that, but let's add an icon. Click on the icon and search there for an arrow. And let's go for this arrow. All right. And now you'd be super disappointed and you may give up and say, I actually want that arrow to appear on the right side of the text here. But you can. You see your advanced icon settings. Advanced. It's actually just more. Click on edit and then you see icon size here and icon position. So we select here right and it shifts to the right. You can also add more spacing. Let's put it around 10. And you have control over the icon size as well. I'm going to bring that down to, 16? Super. That looks really, really good. Really good. Okay. I think this is all we need here for our button. Let's save and go have a look on the front end. Wow. Maybe a little too much space here. But again, we can all go, wow. Except what I want to achieve again is my content here on the left and this open space on the right. I want this line to break a little bit into two lines. So I'll go here and now make sure that you select the container, which is the advanced columns and grid. And if you don't know how to select that, go up here to outline and just click from here, advanced columns and grid, and you know that you've selected it. The inspector on the right, you select layout, and here we have columns, and we can go here now to columns. Column widths. Column widths. Column widths. Okay, interesting. Plural. Can work. I'll grab this slider here in the middle and I'm going to drag it to the left and keep breaking that until it looks like this. Right? 3 lines here. It's fine because the moment I'm going to view this on a bigger display like this one, you're going to see it's actually still going to stretch into one line, because there is so much space. If you want on a 4K monitor to break, I would recommend you take this advanced columns and grid and you put it inside a section container, and then the section container, you set it to a certain width. But for this one, we're going to be okay with this one. Let's grab this URL and then go look in our Sizzy app developer how this will look on different devices. This is the one that I had created previously. So I'll paste this one and we bring in our new one. Let me just click here on responsive mode. And you can see now how this will display on the different devices. Here we have that line break now because we've dragged that column as well as here. And then as we scroll down, this is our tablet view. And these are our cell phone displays. And even here on the cell phone displays, you kind of get the feeling they look pretty much okay. We've actually done a good job here. We're going to reduce the font a little bit, maybe play around also with the spacing. But yeah, we've done pretty good, pretty good. Enough of this. Let's add a little bit of padding here for this one. So I will go back to our builder. Into our builder, let's grab our advanced columns and grid, and then go to advanced. And then here, block spacing. And I'm just curious, maximum content width. If we put it on something like 1140, how will that look? Bear with me for a second. I didn't test this previously. Update. And let's refresh here. I like it. You see, what I've done is I have constrained the container of the columns and advanced grid, or whatever the name of that element is. And now this space will remain open. So I can now go back, click here on layout, and now I can take this slider off my column width and be a little bit more reasonable in how it will look. Let's put it on 50-50 just to see. Yeah, I want to, let's go back. There we go. 46 to 54, update. And then preview it. Ah, man, this looks so good. Yeah, I can cry a river here. Good. So we are very satisfied with our laptop and desktop displays. It's these three. And I did find that the laptop display for Stackable doesn't always translate. In fact, it doesn't translate. We also saw that in video 1. So take note of this one, that it actually, I think, takes it as a cell phone. Your iPad here considers the breakpoints that we get from Stackable as a phone. So whatever we do on the phone is going to happen here on the tablet. One of those things. Let's go here. Let's go make some changes. I'll select again my advanced, what is this thing? Advanced columns and grid. And now here you'll see the column widths in the layout editor. And next to it, I have the desktop and then here tablet. There is no selection here for mobile. So you cannot do the widths on the mobile. I kind of wanted to do that, but it didn't allow me to do it. So I worked around it. Click on tablet and it will take us into the tablet view. Unfortunately, like I said, Stackable does not translate at this moment. So something that they have to go and work on. But what I can do here now is grab the slider and just drag in a little bit more space on my tablet. If I go back to desktop is still 4654 and then tablet is 6832. This is the control that we get here. Let's make changes to the size of the text font. I'll click here on this heading. It's probably the only one that we're really going to be changing. Then we go to title and topography. And then here from size, we'll cycle currently from desktop to tablet. Let's reduce it to something like 36. And then we choose mobile after that. Mobile is going to be stacked. So you see the second column appears here. And we're going to leave it at stacked. Let's just click again here on font size. And which one was this? H2 font and mobile. And let's reduce that to 30. Let's just put it 26, make sure it fits in nicely. And then save it so we can see how that will look. Update. Let's see if that text looks good on our devices. Currently 3 lines. Refresh, reload, 2 lines. Dun, 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 dun. La cucaracha, we got it. And maybe this text, we can just drop it by 1 font just to make it a little bit smaller and not so important. I'll click on it. And this will be our subtitle. So remember, you have to make sure you select the right one. Subtitle. Go to Topography Edit. And we are on mobile. So I'll put this, I think it was on 16. Let's put it on 14. No, it was on 14. I'll drop it by 1. It's a sin. Shouldn't do that, but we're doing it. And then out of this we go, and then update. Too sizzy. Reload. And what we have here, if I go to this Galaxy S, I click on it, it's almost a full viewport height, full screen display. But I think we can reduce a little bit of the padding here at the bottom, as well as reduce the spacer over here. Let's do that once so we can get it perfect. Click on the spacer and you will see already it is selected to mobile. And I can just, I'm going to take it away, put it on 0, and then make sure that we select again up here, Advanced Columns and Grid, Advanced Block Spacing, and we look for our block padding here. And I'll add something like 25, make it smaller, I think. Let's go test it. Reload, and it looks good. So, yep, we did our job here. Everybody is very satisfied with our delivery. Outcome approved. Now, let's go and create the second one with the image and see how we can do that. Great job, Stackable. We are very happy so far. Back into the builder, and I'll just put it here on desktop. You can also select up here, desktop, to bring it back. All right. Make sure that Advanced Columns and Grid, I need to learn this name, is selected. Go to the toolbar, 3 dots, and duplicate. We have 2 now. So if I scroll up, you'll see here's number 1 and here's number 2. Let's add space here between the 2 so that we don't get confused with them. To do that, I'll simply go to Add Blocks and look for the spacer again. Drop it, and it will drop below this one. I'll click here on the Move Up, and it will bring it between these 2. I select it, and from the height, I'll just increase it to give us a little bit of space. Then I'm going to duplicate it, which I could have done at the beginning, and I'll move it down so we have space at the bottom as well. It just gives us a little bit of separation so we can view it better. Save it, go to the second one that we've created, and let's change the image. So I click on the container, Advanced Columns and Grid. And now, let's collapse this general, go to Block Background, and I'll first clear the block background, then background image or video. Let me grab my image. I drag her in, a lot of greens, and select, and there we go. It's brought in. Let's talk about the background media tint strength and why do we want to apply that. Let's look at our text over here. It's light. Background is a mix of darks and light. So especially this text here, even this upper heading, no one can read that. So we need to give it contrast so we can read it better. You may be tempted to say, okay, let's change the color then to a dark color. So if I click here, I go to my title, let's choose a dark color. But the problem is we're going to run into the fact that if it overlaps the hair, again, we're not going to be able to read it. So what to do? And similar to what we had done previously, we're going to apply an overlay. Let's start first with the overlay, and then I'll show you how we're going to fix that problem. The overlay color is set by the background color. So I'll click on Custom Color and put it on black. And then from here, Background Media Tint Strength, I'll increase it to, let's make it 0.4, which is 40%. Opacity, 60% transparent. But we lose an incredible amount of glamour by making her face this dark. And she's the center focus. In fact, if you increase it a little bit to 60 where it's still okay, that whole little spiel I gave you at the beginning of an unbalanced image comes back. But now it's unbalanced to the left because you have all this text that is drawing your attention to the left. You have this image on the right, which is clearly a focus point, but we have subdued it with this overlay. Kind of get what I'm saying. So how we fix this is by bringing in a gradient. Let me show you how we're going to do this. Scroll up here, And next to single, you see the option for gradient. And we have a few workarounds here. So click on gradient, background color 1, make sure this one is set to black. And then, how do I get custom color? And then for this color, if I choose another one, you will see it's going to be on the right side. Okay? But what I recommend is you simply click clear. No color applied. So no color on the right, but on the left, we have a dark color. And we don't see it very clearly. So let's go here to the background media tint strength and take it all the way up to 10. Now you see it much, much better. This color, the one on the right, and this one on the left, let's choose white. This is how it will look. But the moment we clear it, there is no color there, right? Hope you get that one. But I still am not satisfied here because the fade area is around here. It still obstructs a lot of her face here. For that, we go to Advanced Gradient Color Settings, select that, and you will see the Color 1 location and Color 2 location. And that means, where does this color start? Color 2 is the one on the right, so it's going to be this one. And we want that one to start much later. I'll grab this slider, and as I drag it in, you see this side, less of the gradient is applied. We still have the gradient over here. You can drag it all the way, and you'll see now the gradient is only this little area here. So to around 50, 60%, we get away with a lot. Super, right? It looks good. Let's save it and then view it and tackle the next challenge that's going to come, and that will be image position. Let's go to the top first, view it. Right. And already we have this thing cutting off her eyes. So we have to carefully tell Stackable where we want this image to be positioned. Let's go fix this one first. So we start at the top. We are still here. And this will be under Advanced Background Image Settings. Image Position. We are in Desktop. Select this. And we're going to say top right to make sure that our eyes remain in the picture. Update. Refresh. Much better. I would have liked more control, like a little slider I can move around, but we've got this at the moment, so at least her eyes are there. The same we're going to be having for our desktop. Good. That doesn't look good under the nose. Just doesn't. So maybe we should, yeah, that's going to be a difficult one. Probably add some more padding to the top and the bottom of this hero, because cutting someone off at their nostrils is just not a good idea. The lip I can take, but the nostrils probably no. Let's have a look then on our mobile device, how this is going to look. Now remember, unfortunately, with Stackable, the iPad thinks it's a cell phone. So it looks like this, not what we want. Right, so here on the mobile device, we have a little problem. That whole little serenade that I gave you over the text must be able, you can read it, you should be able to see it enough contrast. We have a problem. We've applied this gradient, so the gradient is not on this side, but the text is running all the way. So we have two problems. Stackable number one on mobile devices does not allow us to put our columns next to each other. It stacks it, hence Stackable. The second problem we run in is that when it comes to the gradient overlay, that part in Stackable isn't responsive. Let me show you. If we come here to our Advanced Gradient Color Settings and I click on it, you don't see any area where I can select, for example, the mobile or the tablet. So I don't have any control over this. It's either gradient or single or no go. But there's a small little solution for this. The first solution that we're going to do is move her face to the right. That is responsive. So from our Advanced Background Image Settings, we click it here, and then Image Position, we select Mobile. And from the mobile, we're going to put it center right. Or whether it's center right. Center left. Yeah, center left. Okay, it's out of the picture now. I guess it will look center, center. Center, center. So let's go for center, center. Let's update that and first see if the image looks okay. And this we have to go back and forth. This is live. Okay, you see, this one is still the position we wanted it, but our phone's now. So how can we add padding in here? We do it in the column. While we are here in the mobile display, click here and let's see what we've got at the top. Advanced columns and grid. But remember, if we go here to outline, we have advanced columns and grid, but we have a column and another column. So I can add padding to this column. So if I select this one, now you see there is the column, style, spacing, and then padding. I unlink it, and then from the right, I'll put it in a percentage, and I'll put in the 25% to give it padding on this side. Update, and let's see if that had worked. Refresh. Yeah, look at that. There's still a few that hang over, but we've really achieved what we wanted to achieve here. It's looking pretty good. And you can see that I'm not wrong when I tell you that our iPad is drawing this from Stackable as one setting. So there is no tablet setting, in my opinion, at this moment in Stackable. You may see the tablet icon there, but it's clearly not there. It's only desktop and mobile device at this moment. So even though we've got the iPad here, it's behaving, well, Stackable is behaving like a mobile device. At least we've fixed that. The last thing that I said we're going to do is let's add dividers. So we go back into Stackable. Let's select desktop from here. And then we can go just for this one. So we're going to put that on the outside container. So I click somewhere on the outside and I make sure that it's set to advanced columns and grid. And then select everything and you see we have a top separator and a bottom separator. Those are our, what do you call it, shape dividers. Let's start with the bottom separator. Not that many to write home about. That's it. Let's select slant. Let's just scroll down here to see what it's done. It's given us this slant. And the only thing I'm really sad here, I'm a sad panda, I cannot reduce the opacity and add some transparency. It is a solid color. It is strange because there's a second layer where you can do that, but in this first layer, you cannot do it. So I can leave it on white. I'll just maybe play down with the height. You can see the height here. Can increase the height. Can also play around with the width. Right, let's decrease the height a little bit. And then you see separator layer 2. I'll activate it, and that's going to drop another separator there. This one has got opacity. So I click here on the pencil, and you see here is the opacity. I want that for the one at the bottom as well. Please, please give me that. I'll change this one to black. And then the opacity I'll bring down to 0.2. And then the height I'm going to increase. Let's see, the width. This is okay. This is not magnificent or, really. There's a lot that can be done with these separators or dividers. I think there's still a little more that can go into this to give us full functionality and control over it. But at least we've achieved a little something here. And then I'll just click out on it, update, go to the front, reload. Yeah. Again, what's with the nose? And yeah, this looks all good. Here I'll add more padding. But of course, we add the separator there. There should be something below that, like a block that connects to it. Otherwise, it's just feeling so much out of space there all by itself. We've done a good job, and I'm very happy that you joined us here at Websites for Beginners for this tutorial on Stackable, Reconstructed, Episode 2. Have a great day and stay safe. From me then, JP. See you in the next video.